Hi guys. Okay, first off, kind of have to apologise for the way I look today. I went out last night, so it was my partner's birthday. We had a little drink, a little dance, and it was fun. It was cool. I've had like 4 hours sleep. I don't even know I'm still running. I've cleaned an entire room. I've been to the gym. I haven't stopped. But anyway, what I wanted to talk about today, because I kind of want to get that video that I done. I'm still keeping it on, but I want it to sort of go down. So it's not the first thing people see as well. But it's not nice to see negative stuff like that. What I want to talk about though today is one of these. Now these are known as a witch's cord or witch's girdle sometimes. Okay. Now, basically, the idea behind a witch's cord is to knot in a spell. Now, cord magic is very, 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 very potent. People don't realise how potent it actually is. It's a very, very good technique to use magic. Basically, what you do is you plait. It's like you weave it. I'll just show you up close. You plait it, but as you're plaiting it, you are plaiting in your intentions. You're plaiting in your thoughts, or your will. Basically, you're plaiting it and you're manifesting it, and you want it to happen. Now, normally with witches' cords, they tend to have feathers in them and extra knots as well. Mine don't. Because I'll tell you in a moment. The simple reason, well, I'll just tell you now. The simple reason, really, is because this cord is very basic. It's very simple, and it's meant to be basic and simple. This is my working cord. Now, in a lot of traditional witchcraft, you get on a traditional witch's sort of workspace, you will get the cord, and the cord you'll get a sort of generic cord, so to speak, and the majority of them do have ladders, do have feathers in as well. Some people even put bells in. One of my friends, he has one that has bells in. I still haven't seen it yet. I really want to. But yeah, with me, it's because it's already been knotted, it's already been blessed as well. I blessed it by the elements earth, water, fire, and air. And I asked for the witch gods to also bless it and my ancestors. In particular as well, the goddess, and I'll explain why in a moment. The idea is basically like a witch's rosary. It acts like that, so I can put knots, further knots in it when I want to do a spell. Now it's normally 9 or 13 knots relating to the phase of the moon, the Celtic calendar of the 13 moons, or the traditional number of the witch's coven, 13, or it's basically witch's number 13. So when you cast a spell, normally do that. I do 9, because I always do that. I do something extra, I say stuff while I'm doing it, so I'll be like, knot of 1, my spell's begun. Knot of 2, it cometh true. Knot of 3, so mote it be. And it will go on and on and on. And then basically I'll get to the 9th knot. Normally if I'm burning a candle or something, I'll wrap the cord around the candle and I'll leave it for a while, and then once the candle's burnt out, I'll simply open the knot and blow, like, to represent I'm blowing into the world around me, my will and my desire. Now, there's a reason why it's white, black, and red, and this is actually a Cochrane thing. This comes from Robert Cochrane, the Tubal-Cain cult, basically. And it's red, black, and white. And the reason for it being red, black, and white, and why I said earlier, in particular, the goddess. I asked the goddess to bless us in particular because red, black, and white represents the maiden, the mother, and the crone. Now, this has obviously been taken from Wicca. You can tell. but white representing the maiden aspects of the goddess, red representing the mother, sort of menstrual cycle, and black representing white maiden virgin, and black representing the crone, death, basically near to death. So as you can see, in particular, I have asked the goddess to bless this, and I leave it out on a full moon to charge as well. Now, sometimes when I do witches' ladders for a specific intention, I'll make them a lot more shorter, and I'll use them as sort of bracelets, and I'll wear them until it falls off, basically meaning my desire has happened, and you know, until the knots unbind and come undone, showing that my will is becoming undone and let into reality. Let into the world around me. And these are also used in covens as well to show the rank of the witch. So if you have a magister or you have a devil or a witch queen, you know, they would have a different code from every other coven member in terms of the coven. It's again been borrowed from Wicca, but it does come from, you know, the witch's code, the traditional witch's code. I'm trying to think of other things. Normally as well, I mean, they're not plaited like this, but they also have extra knots in them. They have extra knots in them, 9 or 13, and feathers in them as well. A lot of people say the feathers are to represent your will flying off, you know, sort of sending forth, the idea of sending forth something that's going to fly away and manifest your will into the world around you. Other people say it's for specific intentions. So if you're doing work with the Fae, you'd use magpie feathers, because the magpie are the messengers of the Fae. If you wanted your will to be carried to the little people at the Fae, you could do that then. Crows, in terms of if you wanted to do something pretty nasty, you could put crows feathers onto it. They also, as well, majority of them, if it depends what you're doing, but they come in a noose as well, and they're pretty terrifying if they're just hung outside someone's front garden in a noose. And this goes back to it's meant to be a sinister sort of meaning as a noose or a garrote. So I'm reading from a book. Or a garrote used to strangle the sacrificial victims of the goddess in ancient times. Now, obviously, we're not quite sure about this, but there are a lot of stories saying how people used to sacrificially strangle the victims to the gods. So in order, you know, to do that, that's why sometimes they're in a noose. If you want to kill someone, basically, you offer them as a sacrifice. Or it just, you know, obviously means death, stuff like that, which is hung as well. So yeah, but they can have bells on them. I've seen really elaborate ones. I've seen ones that are really beautiful, with hold stones and keys in them and stuff like that. But the majority of the time, they are pretty long, and they have knots, 9, 13 knots in them, representing the moon phases of the Celtic calendar of the 13 moons. And they have feathers in them. So yeah, that's just a little bit about the witch's ladder. Not too much, but I thought I'd share that with you. So over and out, guys.